Hi everyone, it's been such a busy week during the holidays. It is a wonderful time of year, of course, but so many last minute things to do, not enough time to do them. Well, this week our show isn't all about that, but this is a new enterprise that we're doing. We're doing our podcasts differently. They're in video too, so you can access them. You always could, but this is on YouTube and of course on both the audio and video side of iTunes podcasts, and of course everything is right here also at smartnewincome.com. So let's start off our first video episode with a very cool product with a very cool lady that in many ways epitomizes the dreams and ambitions of entrepreneurs everywhere. This week's Next Gen Entrepreneur is a super sharp lady who comes out of the Silicon Valley, but surprisingly, we aren't talking about a new tech product, which we see so much of. Instead, this is it. It's the creation called the Hightail Hat, the first baseball hat designed to fit the needs of women by allowing them to comfortably wear their hair high in a ponytail. Our Next Gen Entrepreneur found a need and developed a product to solve it, and this is what Tess Rogers has created and invented. Tess, thanks so much for joining us today. How did you come up with this?
Out of frustration. So we were in the Bahamas, and literally I took one of my husband's throwaway hats and I cut out the back and said there needs to be a hightail hat. A hat that's designed for women with long hair that enables me to wear my hair up and away from my neck. And it's really interesting. I literally used that word hightail. It rolled right out of my mouth. And then I knew I was onto something because I looked high and low, and I've traveled a lot, for a hat that would accommodate women with long hair and keep me cool, and there's just nothing out there. So I decided to solve my own problem, and in doing so, Hightail was born.
So you still work on your current job, and you told me as a recruiter. So what has the road to entrepreneurship been like for you?
It's been a journey. I come from the service industry where you have instant gratification, right? You get paid for your service, all that. In the product-based industry, it's totally different. It's like giving birth to a baby, and now we're sitting up, now we're crawling. It's kind of my analogy of it. So it took a long time, from a designing perspective and mock-up perspective. That was short, but then the patenting piece of it, I have 3 patents. 2 of them are design patents and 1 utility patent. That just was awarded this year, actually, the utility. Because it takes a lot longer. And then as far as the hat is concerned, I have gone through several manufacturers because it's not an easy hat to make. There's variables in the back, the elasticity and the way it's designed, because I re-engineered the back, makes it somewhat challenging.
What has the manufacturing process been like?
As far as the hat is concerned, I have gone through several manufacturers because it's not an easy hat to make. There's variables in the back, the elasticity and the way it's designed, because I re-engineered the back, makes it somewhat challenging. But we have finally, I think, secured a good manufacturer that we feel that good Hightail hats are going to be coming from. But we get a great response. Women have. It's been a long process, and it hasn't been easy just to get back to that. We're 4 years in, right? So
I still toss around the idea of creating a product. It seems so cool if you can develop something like your Hightail hat and find others who love it too. What's that been like, getting it all manufactured? I mean, the attraction from overseas is pretty hard to ignore. And it seems like it's getting better all the time. What have you decided to do in that regard about manufacturing overseas or not?
The hat industry is commoditized, right? So in order for us to be competitive, we have to be offshore. But we just, like I said, we're forging a really good relationship with another hat manufacturer. They do a lot of visors and stuff like that, but they wanted to, take on the project. And so far, we're pretty pleased with what they're producing. So we're very excited.
Hey, that's great. So it's so important you get to learn how to work together, isn't it? Hey, by the way, any pros on the tennis or golf or volleyball circuit wearing your Hightail hat?
We had a tennis pro, Vanya King, come to us for our hat. We were so thrilled. And so she wears Hightail on the court. So, all of that persnickety, being very, keeping my bar high on the customer experience is paying off, which I'm really happy to see.
Well, you can't get a better endorsement than that.
I mean, this is this is authentic, legitimate, and we get that kind of response. We were at the Rock and Roll half marathon, and I mean, women came back up to my booth and said, "Where have you been? I mean, I love your product," and we just get that kind of response from women all over the world. They love it.
It's been a 4-year journey for you. I'm sure that you've seen a lot, haven't you?
First started this business, or Hightail, I got duped by a con man. Yeah, I mean, I know, right? Oh my gosh, you know that song? It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll by AC/DC. That's my theme song, right? I've been took, I've been had, but I just keep at it, and I know that Hightail, it's a great product. We're just getting phenomenal response from it. So. Yeah, has it been an arduous process? Yes. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint at heart. You have to stick to it. You can't give up. You just got to keep going.
It really tests you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tests you, definitely. I've been tested on many fronts. I've learned valuable lessons along the way. You think you've been in some business for a while, but, again, I'm not so arrogant to think that, I know what I'm doing, because I don't. I draw upon any resource that I possibly can get to help me.
And back to the Hightail hat again, it seems to have that sportiness about it and a style that busy women feel comfortable wearing.
The beauty of Hightail, getting back to Hightail, and I'll get to be on the line as well, is that Hightail, you can wear that hat and it keeps you cool. It doesn't give you a hat head. You can shake your hair after wearing that hat all day long and go out at night. I designed it that way because I'm busy. I know every woman's busy. I don't have time to primp. I don't have time to do anything else. So getting to the line, what we wanted to do is create a line that's activewear, but not like Lululemon or, we're not competing against the gym, attire. What we want to do is get nice breathable material. So if a woman wants to go on a walk, she can go on a walk, she can go to work, and she can look presentable at the same time.
So I have this one that actually you sent me. My head is about a 7 3/4 hat size. It's pretty big, but you know what? This fits me really well.
Yeah, that one that you have right there, that's the high vis yellow hat, right? Yeah, that's the new manufacturer. The beauty of that is that the material is pliable, and with the elasticity in the back, it enables it to kind of fit you snugly without giving you a headache. And it doesn't give you a hat head, and you can keep cool.
I ask almost all of our next-gen entrepreneurs the same question. Do you have an exit strategy or at least a long-term vision?
I'd love to see myself continuing to run the company and have great teams together and really build something marvelous. I mean, that's kind of my exit, is to be able to run something but have a place where people can go to work and have a lot of passion.
And finally, Tess, from your 4 years or so with this project, what have you learned? How would you counsel someone in the emerging entrepreneur status?
Well, I mean, don't give up. That's the one thing. There were so many roadblocks that if I were faint at heart, I would have given up. I mean, easily, being, of course, duped with, lots of money, and then the manufacturing, the heartburn there. I just think if you think you have a good product, you keep going and you figure out how you can do it. I mean, that's really the lesson I learned, is just to persevere and just to continue. And getting the positive feedback. Definitely do your market research, get positive feedback. Don't go down the wrong rabbit hole if you can. Take your time too. It doesn't have to be, everybody's so like, oh, you got to get out there. You got to get, people are going to knock off your product. And I said, well, first of all, I've gone through 8 manufacturers, so good luck. And if you do, I want to know that manufacturer, right? But don't be ruled by fear. That's, if I can tell anybody anything, do not be ruled by fear, and really trust yourself.
Trust yourself. What a great life lesson. Just trust yourself. Hey, thanks, Tess. You've been great.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. That is Tess Rogers, the inventor who came up with the Hightail hat. It's been quite a journey. Thanks for listening and watching, and then we'll see you next time.